We start with the so-called birther movement. The new governor of Hawaii, Neil Abercrombie, wants to put to rest the manufactured controversy by allowing more information to be released from the records offices in Honolulu. David Corney is Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones, and Clarence Page is, of course, with the Chicago Tribune. Gentlemen, of course you are. Let's go to this. A new poll out this year, just to make sure everybody knows why this is still an issue. A New York Times poll that came out this past April asked, do you think Barack Obama was born in the U.S. or was he born in some other country? Well, never forget this number. 58% say he was born in the U.S. Just 58%, a majority, but less than 3 out of 5 are willing to say he was born here. 20% said he was definitely born somewhere else, and 23% said they don't know, which leaves the president in somewhat odd position since he is our chief executive in a job that requires being born in this country. Again, only 58% agree that he was born here. Now the governor of Abercrombie, the newly elected Democratic governor who grew up and lived with Obama's parents and knew him when he was growing up as a kid, believes it's time to end this nonsense. So let me ask you, gentlemen, why don't, and I am not a birther, I am an enemy of the birthers. This is an actual birth certificate, a long-form certificate of live birth in the state of Hawaii. This, on the other hand, is what they release generally to the public, a thinner form. I'm not sure if it has less information, but it's digital, of course. Doesn't have signatures on it. And to the birthers is evidence he really ain't one of us. Clarence, is this going to help if we get more documentation? And second question, why has the president himself not demanded that they put out the initial documents already?
The president's got more important things to do. Thank goodness that he's more focused on that. Governor Abercrombie himself says that and points out that it is he, the governor, who's bringing this issue up because he was a classmate of Obama's parents. He saw Obama as a baby, and he is tired of people literally lambasting Obama's parents for no good reason. And so he wants to try to put this to rest. Of course, it won't work because the birthers aren't interested in evidence that Obama was born a U.S. citizen. They only want to hear evidence that he was not, and that's not going to happen.
Well, what about going to that 20% or 23% we showed in the New York Times poll that doesn't know? They just want evidence. Is that a group that has a right to get more documentation? And would Abercrombie's position here be the right one? David?
Well, listen, there's enough evidence out there already. There's the certificate that you're holding up, but perhaps even more importantly, there are 2 birth announcements in Honolulu newspapers. Imagine the conspiratorial mind that would have to, at the time of his birth, it was in 1961, plant those things so that one day he could become president of the United States. So there's already plenty of information out there. The 20% who don't know are willfully ignorant. They just don't want to know. And for the 23%, well, I think of that great movie line, you can't handle the truth. I think Neil Abercrombie, who is a great progressive Democrat, I loved him when he was in Congress here in Washington, is basically in a mug's game. There's nothing he's going to do that's going to change any mind of anybody out there who already believes this. I mean, as
but
you
what
said
do you
earlier,
make? Are you saying that 43% of the country is incorrigibly stupid or resistant to truth? Because we've got the poll that shows that only 58% are confident of his birth in this country. So what do you do about those other 43%? I'm just asking you, why isn't Abercrombie on the right trail here to at least go to the 20 or 30%? You can't, obviously the nutcases on the far right who hate this guy aren't going to ever admit that you're right, but why not get to the people who are confused?
You've lost the 23% already. I would just write them off.
What do you mean, 43% of the country is off the list?
No, the 23% who say that they know he wasn't born here.
It's 20,
I would just write them off, send them a holiday card.
Okay, what about the 23? Are they worth going for?
I think the 20% just don't know because they haven't paid enough attention. If they paid enough attention already, the facts that you're holding in your hand would be enough to convince them. They just don't care enough to know. Or they think this is where the right wing does a good job. They've created enough of a controversy, even a fake controversy over this, that people who are listening with maybe half an ear say, well, I guess I don't really know because I understand there's some controversy going on here. So that's what's probably brewing with those people.
There's also another answer, which the questionnaire apparently did not include, and that's the don't care crowd. A lot of those people who don't know don't care enough to look deeper into it because it's just not relevant to their lives compared to other things they want from the president right now, like helping to turn the economy around.
Well, let me tell you what I think is new here, and you're both reporters, and you can tell me if I'm right. I think the mere fact that a newly elected governor of Hawaii, his home state, and it is his home state, I completely agree with you, has begun this effort. Now everybody on the right knows he's begun the effort. Every news person knows it. You guys know it. I know it. So we're going to be paying out, maybe out of the corner of our eye for the next couple weeks. How's Abercrombie doing on his expedition to find the original document with signatures all over it, like all our birth certificates, like this one here, that somebody who was born at the same one day before has all kinds of signatures on it. It's an actual photostat. Don't we want to know if he can find it? And I don't understand why the governor doesn't just say, snap it up, who's ever over there in the Department of Records, send me a copy right now. And why doesn't the president just say, send me a copy right now? Why doesn't Gibbs and Axelrod say, let's just get this crappy story dead? Why not do it?
The president doesn't care.
He doesn't care that 43% of the country isn't sure he's an American.
Look, Chris, that copy that you've got there, the copy that the president has provided on the web, is all you need if you're a Hawaiian to get a passport. Everybody accepts that birth certificate as proof of his citizenship, except the birthers. I don't blame him for just ignoring the crowd.
So this is the same document which would be adequate if, say, you wanted to join the CIA.
Absolutely, or to get a passport or anything else. That is proof of his birth in Hawaii.
And one question here is that the governor has asked for more information. He hasn't said it has to be the long form that you're holding there for somebody else. So if he comes up with other information that is not exactly a long form, will that satisfy or change anybody's view on this?
But the department out there just said the other day that there is such a thing. It exists. The original document of his birth is available in storage. They have it in storage, they say. Well, and if it exists, why not put it out? I'm just asking the obvious question, why not? Will there be any harm done by releasing the original document?
I would take the brave position of saying that if they can find it, they should put it out there, and then we can make even more fun of the birthers.
I'll take the brave position of saying, yeah, put it out there, and the birthers are still not going to believe it. They're going to say, well, that governor is part of the conspiracy, too, because he's a Democrat.
And why did it take so long?
Well, you guys are, you know what, you're all dead right. So let's agree, 3-0. It's the new year beginning. Why don't we all say 3 cheers for Neil Abercrombie, knowing that the next New York Times poll taken a week after that will show 20% believe everything's bogus, including the fact that anybody who says anything on television is a liar. So let's move on. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. It's great to have you on, Clarence.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm sure we've gotten to the bottom of this as much as mortal man can.